talking women's basketball recruiting here in this all-new video from Hoop Central. We thank you very much for taking the time to join us again on the channel. I'm Hamilton Neal, joined by Ellington Neal. We have a ton of content on this Hoop Central YouTube channel right now, and you hear me say this in every single video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things really help this channel out so much, where we can have more content like this coming up. Really excited to talk about what we have in this video in regards to women's college basketball recruiting, and we're talking about UConn women's basketball, and they're recruiting 2023 five-star point guard Kamorea Arnold. She announced her commitment to the Huskies back a couple of weeks ago, and here in this video we're going to talk about what she brings to the table for this UConn team, the things that she is going to bring to this Huskies team offensively. We're going to break down her skill set, break down the things that she does well, and the things that she can contribute best to this UConn women's basketball team. She's currently ranked 6th in the class of 2023 according to ESPNW, and the number 2 ranked point guard, only behind Malaysia Fulwiley out of South Carolina. When you look at her skill set and what she brings to the table in her game, so explosive off the bounce, scores mentality. She has the ability to score in transition, in the half-court offense, her ability to drive, and when she puts her head down and really commits to that, she's really dangerous, really good in the mid-range area with her jump shot, very good creator as well, distributes the basketball very well. I think the three-point shooting is also very consistent. For all players, that's something of continual improvement and focus, is that three-point shooting, but really where her jumper is the most deadly is from the mid-range area. Some of the key points of her game is mid-range shooting, like we talked about, ability to create, taking a player one-on-one, getting it down there on the inside, and just using that athleticism to her advantage and having that scorer's mentality, something that we see quite a bit from UConn guards like Paige Bueckers, like AZ Fudd. Kamorea Arnold fits that mold as well, as a player that comes in with that type of, again, scorer's mentality. Really, this is the type of player that UConn needs coming in, because we don't know what's going to happen with Paige Bueckers after her junior year. She has the option to leave for the WNBA, and if that does happen, Kamorea Arnold is going to be that much more important. Even if Paige doesn't leave, more depth in the backcourt, yet another talented player that Gino Auriemma can utilize. So going to be very interested to see how things play out here. They prioritized Arnold, and now they have her verbally committed. So I'm interested to see how she comes in and plays for UConn and how she is developed early on. Yeah, I mean, UConn, this is a huge commitment for them. I mean, they just want to get players that fit the system, and I think she's going to fit the system really well. With those key points of her game that you mentioned, the mid-range shooting, that's the main one I look at here. And for UConn, it's just about getting these players acclimated and and getting them coached up. That's what Gina wants to do. Again, they have some other targets, but I think out of this class, when it's all said and done, she's going to be the top player for sure, no question about it. Looking at the remaining targets in the class of 2023 for UConn, obviously Ashlyn Shade, there's still a good chance that UConn does land Ashlyn Shade because she can play the 2 spot in the post. Sierra Toomey is a really big target out of Dunmore High School in Pennsylvania. She was at UConn for the Arkansas game for a visit. Some other schools are in the mix there: Duke, Maryland, North Carolina, Northwestern, just to name a few, but I think it's pretty safe to say that UConn is the big favorite in that recruitment. So look at Toomey and Shade as still the 2 biggest targets from here. Bria Cunningham is an elite post player. They are in her final list, but she's out of California. There's a lot of Pac-12 schools in the mix there. I don't expect UConn to land Cunningham, nor Madison Booker. Madison Booker is a 6'1" wing out of Mississippi. A lot of SEC schools involved there. You got Oregon, Louisville also on that list. So I think they're in a great position with Shade still and with Toomey, but I think it's more of a safe bet with Toomey than with Shade. And Riley Stack out of South Carolina, also a target, but not as heavy of a target as the others that we just mentioned. So I think best case scenario for UConn here in this 23 class is, in addition to having Arnold committed, that you definitely add Toomey and possibly Shade. But again, there's some other schools there in the mix for Shade. We've heard some things about Vanderbilt. Obviously, Shea Ralph, who was an assistant at UConn, is now there as head coach. There's a lot of rumors with them right now. There's obviously Tennessee, Louisville, Notre Dame, some of the Midwest schools. So I think best case scenario is that they are able to pull Shade out of Indiana and Toomey out of Pennsylvania. I'm looking at either a 2-player class of Arnold and Toomey or a 3-player class of Arnold, Toomey, and possibly Shade as well. So a couple different scenarios here for UConn. A lot of good competition in all of those recruitments. And again, this is a very talented, deep class of 2023, but those are just some of the players that UConn is making a priority right now. Those are just some of the players that UConn are making a priority right now. And it's going to be interesting to see, again, who they can add alongside Kamorea Arnold, who they beat out a ton of other high-level schools for: Baylor, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Louisville, just to name a few. Those are some of the other schools that were recruiting her as well. So those are just some of the things that you can expect to see from Kamorea Arnold, and some of the things that she'll bring to the table for this UConn women's basketball team. And again, still adding and still trying to add pieces to this 2023 class. We'll be all over it here at Hoop Central. We'll have all the updates. Check us out here on YouTube. Continue to follow us on our blogs. We got a lot of content coming up there as well. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Tons of content. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.